Empires on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Your Federal Reserve tribute, known as the income tax, is due on April 15th. That is, unless you're one of the following Fortune 500 companies that aren't paying any taxes. Daily Mail reports the Fortune 500 companies that didn't pay a penny in 2014 income tax despite being worth billions. Some of the companies include CBS, Mattel, Prudential, Time Warner, Owens Corning, JetBlue, Xerox, Priceline.com, and perennial bomb maker General Electric. Some of these companies even got tax rebates back. Are you serious? Thank goodness we have Hillary Clinton, who's now attacking the 1%. She really means it. Did you know that Ronald Reagan's Grace Commission report found that 1/3 of all income taxes are consumed by waste and inefficiency in the federal government? And 100% of what is collected is absorbed solely by interest on the federal debt, which means that your tax dollars are paid to the private run-for-profit Federal Reserve. Bow down to your overlords and pay your stinking taxes, unless you're one of these Fortune 500 companies. Rob Dew reporting for Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.tv.
Used since before the days of the Roman Empire to support the body's natural systems. Introducing the new InfoWarsLife.com oil of oregano formulation. We have now procured the most high quality and potent forms of oregano oil on the market. Extracted directly from the wild herb and sealed in easy-to-use capsules. You will no longer need to endure the burning of liquid oregano on the tongue. Now available in our limited first run at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139. Alex Jones here. For the last 2 years, I've been working with top doctors, nutritionists, and chemists to design a nutraceutical formulation that has truly life-changing health benefits. Introducing the all-new Ancient Defense Herbal Immunity Blend. Experience the benefits of combining over 14 ancient herbs and extracts with exciting new advances in nutraceutical science. Visit InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
Hey, how you doing, Alex?
Good, brother.
Just recently started using your products. Everything you said about them's correct. Me and my wife both use a lot of them, and it's made a lot of changes in our lives here.
Well, thank you, brother. It's because it also funds our operation, but doing that, I know I've got to have the highest quality. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals.
We do the Super Male and the Super Female Vitality. Big changes, a lot of energy. We've gotten off of the cheap energy drinks, energy shots, saving a ton of money there.
Sourced from powerful organic herbs, harvested around the planet, and then concentrated for maximum potency. They want us stunned and dumbed down, and energy drinks and stuff just cover that up for a while, but then burn you out, in my experience, whereas stuff that gets your glands naturally going goes right to the source. So it's pretty exciting, and I love it. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality and other powerful products from InfoWars Life.
Hi, I'm Janet Napolitano, Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. Homeland Security begins with hometown security.
It seems apparent that our citizens are staying off the streets, which may make scoring particularly difficult, even with this year's rule changes. To recap those revisions, women are still worth 10 points more than men in all age brackets, but teenagers now rack up 40 points, and toddlers under 12 now rate a big 70 points. The big score, anyone, any sex, over 75 years old, has been upped to 100 points.
Oh, God.
As always, how fast you move determines how long you live.
Resistance to tyrants is obedience to God. It's Alex Jones.
30 points. You know, he had a best-selling film come out a few years ago, and I think it's now more important than ever. We sell it, as well as his latest film, Utopia, about the Obama nightmare at InfoWarsStore.com. You really should get it and give it to your friends and family, because now you've got congressmen and others coming out pointing out Frank Marshall Davis, and a video clip of Obama talking about Frank Marshall Davis, teaching him basically his worldviews. So for an update on this, Joel Gilbert's going to be joining us, and he just told us he's doing an interview tonight with major breaking news with WorldNetDaily.com. We'll have the story, obviously, tomorrow. I want to invite Joel to pop back in for 10 minutes, 15 minutes tomorrow to tell us what this big breaking news is. Maybe he can give us a little taste of it. He just talked to one of Obama's relatives and has been tied on the case. Let's go ahead and go to this clip of Obama talking about one of the main communist publishers, hooked in with the KGB, you name it, major newspaper publisher throughout the country of communist official newspapers, went to Cuba, Russia, you name it, Frank Marshall Davis, who was also a famous pornographer, and clearly Joel got in the private collection of someone and shows his mother there at the house in porn with him, and this is where Obama grew up. And his grandfather was, best friends with this guy that's his dad. So the whole Kenya thing was a distraction. That's why he said in the Harvard Law Review that he was the editor of, that he was from Kenya over and over again. I mean, in the official intro, I'm so honored to be born in Kenya, to be here now at Harvard, and shows you can advance. His wife said he was from Kenya in speeches because they were scared to death of the Frank Marshall Davis issue. Then they put out fake birth certificates, you name it, to make us get on the case knowing they were fake, with the fake typewriter font and all, where the C's, the D's, the A's, the Z's, everything's the same. The fake blobs of the ink are exactly the same. It's fake. It's fake. It's fake. Period. Fake. That's a fraud right there. So it's still a fraud. But it's Frank Marshall Davis' son. You've got to get the film at InfoWarsStore.com or by calling 888-253-3139. But now this new video, and it's up on InfoWars.com, of Obama talking about learning how to obsess over race and everything from Frank Marshall Davis. Video: Obama admits noted communists schooled him on white racism. Gateway Pundit. It's up on InfoWars.com. Here's the clip.
The passage finally ends with me having a conversation with a close friend of my maternal grandfather, a close friend of Gramps, a black man from Kansas named Frank, actually at the time a fairly well-known poet named Frank Marshall Davis, who had moved to Hawaii and lived there. And so I have a discussion with him about the kinds of frustrations I'm having, and he sort of schools me on that I should get used to these frustrations. So let me dig in.
And he's such a communist now, though, he tells Africans they can't have air conditioning or a car, as he rolls around like the richest king on earth, but bows every other king or queen he sees. I mean, it's just as they push communist ideology from the piles of gold they've stolen. So Joel Gilbert, Dreams of My Real Father. We'll play some video of this in the background for TV viewers. Story of Reds and the deception. I tell you, how amazing. Suddenly, Frank Marshall Davis is getting a lot of attention. So kudos there. We salute you on your groundbreaking research, Joel.
Thanks. Great to be back with you. My film, Dreams of My Real Father, this came out in 2012, and it's just fascinating to me to watch how long it takes for people to really pay attention and realize it. It's coming out more and more. The influence of Frank Marshall Davis is undeniable. He had a profound ideological impact, and I can talk about that. But all the research is in, and I think I've convinced a lot of people and demonstrated that Frank Marshall Davis was Barack Obama's real biological father.
It's her. She did lesbian porn, everything.
Yeah, and he then became his ideological mentor. There's absolutely no question.
He says it.
The Kenya story is simply a cover story because he knows Americans would be uncomfortable if he said, my father was a Soviet agent who indoctrinated me into the Marxist ideology. Incredible. And I am wanting to come and live in the White House so I can help spread this all over the country. That wouldn't work. So he had to say, my father was a goat herder from Kenya, and I'm going to bring people together. So the reality is that Obama is what we call a red diaper baby. This means the child of a Communist Party USA member. And I want to tell you, Davis was not only a Communist Party member, he was a communist propagandist, and he also acted as a Soviet agent. People don't understand this. He went from Chicago to Hawaii in 1948 on the orders of the Kremlin to help start a strike and organize the dock workers with the goal of taking over the Hawaiian government and expelling U.S. naval forces. And
he had massive funding and was able to start major newspapers, you name it.
That's correct. So first, He started a strike for 6 months. The goal was to get rid of U.S. naval forces and allow for Soviet expansion in Asia. The strike he organized eventually failed, and he went on to become a communist propagandist and writer for years. And then, as you can see, in 1960, he fathered the current president of the United States, who has hidden this background. And that's the profound manipulation of the electorate, is he tried to make people think his family was from Kenya, rather than the reality that he was a radical and the child of a Communist Party member, and he was indoctrinated into this ideology which calls for the elimination of the United States.
And we played into it. You did. And I want to go back briefly. This is so incredible. You have new info on how you, with others, discovered this. I mean, you deserve a Pulitzer Prize for this. I'm not just kissing your butt. I don't say that to a lot of our guests. Because I even bought a hook, line, and sinker. It was designed for me and Dr. Corsi and others. Because, I mean, look, he says in the Harvard Review, every issue, you know, hey, I'm the editor. I came from Kenya, was born there. It's amazing I could be here. You know, as he says it in literature. He does it in book proposals. He does it, his wife says it in speeches in 2007. And then we're just going, it's a fake birth certificate. You say you're from Kenya. We're being attacked. The media will never play the clips of why we're saying he's from Kenya. And then the whole thing was a setup. He was really the son of one of the top communist agents in the U.S., and then his grandfather was admittedly CIA, and his mother a sex operative. I mean, you can't make that up.
It's the sadder story is that America was deceived. People sent their kids to the army. People worked all their lives to protect the right to vote. And people went and voted in an election with a complete deception. Obama lied about his personal background, but he also lied about his political goals. He said Obamacare is not a tax. I'm going to cut the deficit in half. He never intended to do any of these things. It was a complete lie, following the ideology to use a big lie to take power, and then once you take power, use the tools of state, like the IRS, the control of information, to keep a permanent hold on power. So the tragedy is far beyond Obama's family. It's what has happened to the United States and how he's degrading our relationships and our allies around the world. The United States cannot exist in the world as a lone democracy between two oceans. We need strong allies who share our values in Western Europe, Israel, Australia, Japan, and he's used the power of state to degrade our alliances.
Well, look, he won't let us have one gold mine, one copper mine. He's shutting down power plants every week. China's opening new ones. He's raising taxes. He's opening the borders completely, saying we'll pay for everybody free. I mean, he is destroying the country. I just can't believe that the elite are allowing him to do this. Because, I mean, the elite are corrupt, but, man, I mean, is this a communist double cross of the robber barons? What's going on?
Well, Obama's election was not a sudden political phenomenon. It really was the result of an American socialist movement that has been quietly infiltrating the U.S. economy, media, entertainment for decades. So Obama was able to take power with the cover of all these people who simply, the media, rather than investigate his story. I've been to Hawaii twice, which is twice as much as all the media combined. They simply repeated his story. My father's a goat herder from Kenya. I'm going to bring people together. The reality he should have said, which they would have brought out if they even asked him, is what was your relationship with Frank Marshall Davis? What was the impact on you? Why did you follow in his footsteps all the way back to Chicago, where you teamed up with your real father's buddy, Vernon Jarrett, the father-in-law of Valerie Jarrett, working for a communist newspaper?
And, of course, his dad had been in Chicago, right, and actually started that newspaper, didn't he?
Well, Frank Marshall Davis was a Chicago journalist. He joined the Communist Party in 1932, only 15 years after the Bolshevik Revolution. He was one of the original black Bolsheviks, along with Paul Robeson. And the communists manipulated journalists and black people into thinking that if you follow communism, will eliminate racism. They didn't realize that if you follow communism, you eliminate everybody, not just racism, but everyone becomes impoverished, and the societies end up decaying biologically and economically. So Davis was one of the original black Bolsheviks. And as I said, he acted on behalf of the Soviet Union as a Soviet agent, went to Hawaii. How profound is it that the President of the United States is the son of a Soviet agent? And don't think that the Kremlin and the Russians don't know who Obama is.